Look what I got here. It's a package from across the pond. That means that it's a package from the United Kingdom. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sunday. So this is a package that was just recently sent to me, and it is from my good buddy, Hal. Hal was here visiting Josh back in October, and that was the first time that me and Mao and so many of our friends here in Raleigh got a chance to meet Hal. Hal's a great guy, and since then we've kept in touch. He's appeared on a lot of different Stephen and Friends episodes, etc., and just an all-around good dude. We were talking a little bit about video editing because video editing is also what Hal does, and Hal, or Hal's employer, had some extra equipment that they weren't using. And he was like, this stuff's just like sitting around. Would you like it if I sent you one? And I was like, that would be really neat. So he did. And let me show you what he sent.
I don't have a good way. The package opener that I had is in another room or something. So I'm doing this the dumb way.
Inside was the DaVinci Resolve Speed Editor. This is a panel from Blackmagic Design that allows you to do certain operations in DaVinci Resolve more quickly and easily, or maybe a more accurate way of putting it would be that it gives you tactile feedback. It gives you physical controls for things that you would want to do in DaVinci Resolve. For those who aren't aware, DaVinci Resolve is a video editing program made by Blackmagic Design, and it's really picked up a lot of steam in the last few years. There's a lot of people using it. For one, because it's real good. It's been used for years and years and years as like the de facto standard for color. Like Hollywood films usually do their color grading on DaVinci Resolve. But in the last few years, it's picked up a lot of steam on like YouTube and stuff because, for one, it's not terribly difficult to use. It's extremely powerful. And the other thing is that it's free. There's a paid version. I have a paid version, but it's also free. I got my paid version because I ordered a camera. If you buy one of the Pocket Cinema cameras, you get a free full version of Resolve. So on the back of the panel, it says, the DaVinci Resolve Speed Editor has been designed with the cut page, which is one of the sections of the app. To make editing dramatically faster, you get real physical controls that you can feel in your hands, making the experience much better than software-only editing. So panels have been a big thing for many years. Obviously, they've been big for video editing, and this is a small panel. Like Blackmagic makes panels that are big, like real big, with all sorts of buttons. I've never had a panel. I've never had one. I've always been interested in playing around with one, and I feel really excited that Hal was able to send me one. Very grateful to him for doing that, because this lets me have a chance to play around with something that, honestly, I probably wouldn't have otherwise. This is an interesting one, too, because I primarily edit in Final Cut Pro 10. But I do edit in DaVinci Resolve. I actually edit generally in both almost every single day. I cut the vlog in most projects that I'm going to do in Final Cut Pro 10 because I'm very, very familiar with that. But for DaVinci Resolve, I do all of the VODs. And the reason I initially started doing that is the finished files that OBS spit out. Final Cut didn't really like them. I do multi-track recording in OBS, and I always ran into weird audio glitches in Final Cut that just did not happen in Resolve. So I just kind of decided okay, well, I'm just gonna do the VODs in Resolve then. But Resolve is also extremely powerful. There's all sorts of amazing things you can do with it. So I'm happy to have this and actually get a chance to play around with a panel for the first time in my life. Let me open this. Let me open up the box. There we go. Look at that, DaVinci Resolve Speed Editor. So this is plastic. Yeah, this is plastic. The wheel feels really nice though. Wheel has a good feel to it. And I think is it also a button? I'm not entirely sure. Otherwise you get a variety of different variety of different buttons here. And this is designed for the cut page. And there's two different ways of editing in DaVinci Resolve. The edit page is where I spend most of my time. Like, that's how I usually do things. But the cut page is designed to like very quickly do things. I don't want to generalize too much, but it's kind of like a more general way of cutting your project. They both will allow you to edit, but the edit page is like a more traditional setup, and the cut page is like a little dumbed down, like just for the purpose of being faster. And this links into that to allow you to go even faster. But this is really, really cool. I'm very excited. Also comes with a USB-C to USB-C cable in here. And that was one thing I was worried about, was like, oh man, you know, this coming from the UK, will this be compatible? And I don't think that it's not like region locked in any way whatsoever, and there's no power necessary because it's just USB-C, so it's not actually plugging into the wall at all. So the other thing about the Speed Editor is that a lot of people wind up with these because they want to get a full version of DaVinci Resolve. So I got my full version with the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera, which I bought at this point quite a few years ago. And Pocket Cinema cameras still to this day come with a full version of Resolve. If you want to buy a full version of Resolve on its own, it's $300, and that's a flat fee, and you get upgrades forever, and they've really proven that track record too. However, these things have an MSRP of, I think, $400. So you pay $400, and it comes with a license for that $300 piece of software. So this ends up being about $100. So this, I think, would be maybe a reasonable thing for someone to buy if they were trying to get a copy of Resolve, because then it makes the panel itself just $100, which seems pretty worthwhile. But for me, having already owned a copy of Resolve, I was like, I don't foresee myself ever buying a panel, you know, just on my own. So getting a chance to actually try this out is a big deal. The other thing is that I'm trying to poke Dan enough for him to actually leave Premiere and start doing things in Resolve. And I would certainly let him, you know, borrow or use this, you know, if it meant that it would help him with work too. So he could get a chance to play around with this as well. Anyway, Hal, thank you. This is very, very sweet. I'm looking forward to actually giving it a shot. And, you know, I've never used a panel before. I have extreme interest in, they make panels bigger than this, and they make panels specifically for color grading that have like little trackballs on them. And those are super neat. I don't know if I'll ever get to the point where I like invest in something like that, but I've always thought about it because I think that it's a very neat thing. But this is like a good like starting test run to find out how I would work with physical buttons, and I'm looking forward to trying it out. Okay, that's it. Thank you all so much for watching. And for anyone that's not like super, I don't know, tech savvy or not really big into the video editing world or anything, I hope the one thing that you take out of this video is the fun reminder that DaVinci Resolve does have a free version, and the free version is astoundingly good. It is very good. It is now actually my biggest recommendation for people who are like, I need to do some video editing and I don't know what to use. What do you recommend? I always tell them, just use DaVinci Resolve. If you're just starting out, it can be maybe a little daunting because there is a lot of features in it, but there's so many helpful tutorials and things online. And for what you get for the price, which is free, it's really good. It's really good. It's really good. And of course, you know, the $300 version I think is also worth it because some of the features that you can do are astounding. But you know, starting out for free, like, yeah, definitely look into that if you need a video editing solution. Okay, thanks again, Hal. And thank you all for watching. Let's meet back tomorrow, shall we?